Hi, folks. Welcome to Rooster's Rants. We had another senseless, preventable school shooting happen down in Georgia. And first of all, my heart goes out to all the families of the victims of that senseless shooting. This kind of hits home for me, folks. It strikes close to home. My kid in 2006 was going to Platte Canyon High School when it was taken over by an active shooter. Uh, and a young lady by the name of Emily Keys ended up losing her life in that particular incident. This was not too long after Columbine, folks, in Colorado. Uh, I can't understand for the life of me why this is still happening. This is 100% preventable, people. There's simple solutions to fix what's going on here, but let's talk about what's happening. First of all, we got a 14-year-old kid that for some reason is willing to take a gun into a school and shoot his classmates up. The mental health situation of our children there's something totally wrong, folks, and we need to do something about it. We need to spend some money on trying to figure out what the mental health problems are going on with our children. What would drive a 14-year-old to do something like this? Second of all, the FBI actually interviewed this child and his father a year prior to this incident happening. How can that happen and the incident still happen? Why was there no follow-up from the FBI? Is the FBI so incompetent that we can interview a child a year before when he's talking about going and shooting up his school, but we're not going to follow up on it and make sure that he doesn't follow through with what he said he was going to do? It's insane, folks. Is our FBI actually that incompetent? Next on the list is this type of thing is preventable, folks. We can protect judges in every courthouse across America. You don't hear about people going into courtrooms with guns and shooting up the courtrooms. We can protect airports. We can keep guns out of airports. We can keep guns out of courthouses. We can keep guns out of federal buildings. We can keep guns out of state buildings, but we can't keep guns out of our schools. This is ridiculous, people. All it takes is metal detectors in the schools, and this could have been prevented. There is no reason at all why we shouldn't have metal detectors in every school across America at this point. This should not be happening anymore. If it's the cost, then let's stop spending money on stupid things and giving it away to illegal immigrants and whatever other reasons there are out there that we're spending money usefully, and spend it on where it needs to be spent. Protecting our most precious asset, our children. Why are our children not worth spending the money on and putting metal detectors in schools? Why don't we have armed guards in every school across America along with metal detectors? If we did, this would not happen. It could not happen. The fact a 14-year-old child was able to get an AR-15, a long rifle, into a school in this day and age after all the school shootings we have had is just 100% ridiculous. It is 100% ridiculous. Our government and the people that are in power need to do what is correct, which is protect our children. And it's a simple solution. Metal detectors in every school and an armed resource officer in every freaking school. If that would have been done, those two children and those two teachers would still be alive today. There is no excuse for it, and if they don't do it, then I don't want to hear any politician moving forward talking about how they care about our children. If I had a child in public schools these days, I would be withdrawing my children at this point, because you cannot trust the government to take care of our kids. You cannot trust the government to keep our children safe. We cannot trust the government to keep anybody safe. The answer is not taking away guns. Yes, I am pro Second Amendment, no doubt about it. But it has nothing to do with taking away guns. Taking away guns isn't going to solve this problem. That's that's the pawn that all the politicians use. They allow our children to die, and then they argue back and forth on whether they're supposed to take guns or they should take guns from us. Taking the guns is not the solution. The solution is metal detectors in schools so people can't take guns into schools. It's that simple. People, if you have children in public schools these days, you need to contact your politicians. You need to email them. You need to call them. You need to do everything in your power to tell them that it is unacceptable for your children to be in danger at this level. The solution is simple once more. This really upsets me, folks. Like I said, it hits real close to home. There's nothing more scary than you sitting there waiting to hear if it is your child that ended up getting killed in an active school shooting. It is ridiculous for this still to be happening after all these years after Columbine, after all these years after Platte Canyon High School. How many senseless shootings have to happen? How many children have to die before we do the commonsensical thing and put metal detectors into schools? Please, folks, you have to contact your politicians because they're not going to care about your kids until you make them care about your children. Please, please make this happen because it's your children at stake if you don't. Enough kids have died. Enough children have died. Let's fix the problem and let's spend money on what we need to spend money on. Protection and security of schools. Let's spend money on figuring out what the mental health problems of our children are. What drives them to pick up an AR-15 and go into a school and start trying to kill their classmates. We need to look at the base of the problem, the root cause of the problem, not try to band-aid the problem by trying to argue about taking away guns. All that does is that's a political statement, it's a political point, and it's nothing but power to try to gain votes. It has nothing to do with protecting your children. Folks, you need to smarten up, or more kids are going to end up dying as a result. You need to contact your government officials. You need to contact your politicians. You need to let them know that this is unacceptable, that we're not going to take this anymore. If they can't protect the children of our country, then how can they protect any of us? Think about it, folks. Think about it. That's all I have to say on this subject. I'm sorry for yelling. I'm sorry, but I'm totally upset about this. And this one really irks me because there is absolutely zero reason for any of our children to ever die in a school. It's a simple solution. Once again, metal detectors work. They work in hospitals. They work in courtrooms. They work in the airports. They work in federal buildings, state buildings. There's no reason for any of our children to ever die again in a school. You gotta speak up, folks. You gotta tell them you're not gonna accept anything less. I'm Rooster, and this is Rooster's Rants.